Can you play me the Can you play me the
Oh yes. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Shri Charanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. ISKCON Deputy Founder Acharya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Shripada Paramahamsa Parikritika Acharya Stuttar Sata Srimad His Divine Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Rajami Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Navdik Maya Pradham ki Jai. Jagannath Paridham ki Jai. Ganga Mai ki Jai. Jamna Mai ki Jai. Bhakti Dev ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani ki Jai. Samavita Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Nidai Gaura Premanande. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. Glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1st, chapter number 9, the passing away of Vishmadeva. This is very interesting topic. The whole life Vishmadeva was on the opposition, and he was rather showing his indifference in which party he is in. Even though Kauravas, he was faithful to them by bodily obligations. Vishnu Pitama, he took a vow not to get married. It's a bodily obligation. Moreover, he will not take the reign of this reign of the entire world that was epitomized by the descendant of the Guru dynasty. They were world rulers. Who can give up that position? But he promised, even without assuming the responsibility. Yet the responsibility was his moral obligation to train everybody under him without attachment. So we see the character of Vishnu Pitama was very indifferent right from the very beginning. He knew who Krishna is. Yet we never heard all these prayers of him before, during his active period to remain in the side of Kauravas, opposition. The spiritual life is without taking side of anybody, except side of Krishna. And you may not declare it. You may not declare it, that whose side you are on. So, such a benevolent character, Vishnu Pitama, is showing, is worthy to be remaining indifferent. Don't take side of it, even though you are apparently on the side. Socially, he was on the side of the Kauravas. And he got insulted by the same Duryodhana regarding his severe stature, more than his father. So don't depend upon the glorification of the society who is not Krishna conscious. He was completely in opposition. Even his being in opposition party is also in opposition. That is not the character of a devotee, to be siding. But Vishnu Pitama, even though a pure devotee, he was in the opposition party. And whatever happened in front of him, he could not take side of anybody, including when Draupadi was disrobed. He could not defend the Draupadi. And Draupadi, being so pious, lashed out. That you cannot protect. So dependency on Lord Shri Krishna is for total protection. That regardless whose side we think, it is all temporary. It is all temporary. And taking side in material life is also so much temporary that we do not realize what we are doing even during that time, that even though we know that this is not fair yet, we have to take side. But we have to become mature in steadiness, reposed only to Krishna. Vishnu Dhamma glorifies Lord Shri Krishna. Not before, but when he is living his body. Such prayers are very wonderful. So here is a verse that how he introduces Lord Shri Krishna. Coming out from the bondage of material life, glorifies the good fortune of the Pandavas, that Lord Krishna was always on his side. So that was his main attention. He says in the previous verse, number 20, he said, Yamanyase matuleyam priyam mitram surattapam akaroho sachivam dutam sauradadat sathin. Okay, that personality whom out of ignorance only you thought to be your maternal cousin, your very dear friend, well-wisher, counselor, messenger, benefactor, etc., is that very personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Being the absolute personality of Godhead, he is present in everyone's heart. He is equally kind to everyone, and he is free from the false ego of differentiations. Therefore, whatever he does is free from material inability. He is equibalanced. External equivalence you may not be able to keep. You may be forced to fight against Lord Krishna, against his own beloved Pandavas, whom he did not discriminate. But because he was on the side of, materially attached to the opposition, he kept his mouth shut towards all the atrocities the Pandavas had committed. What kind of devotional service is that? Cannot be extended to the devotees of Lord Shri Krishna. But Vishnu Pitama is a very, very exalted character. Because he is absolute, Prabhupada explains, there is nothing different from him. He is Kaivalya. Krishna is Kaivalya, and his devotees also remain Kaivalya. There is nothing except himself. Everything and everyone is the manifestation of his energy, and thus he is present everywhere by his energy, being no different from it. Parasya Shaktir Vividhiya Suruyate Swabhaviki Jnanamalakriyash. The Supreme's energies are variegated, and they are in tune of what is the desire of their master. They work automatically. Lord Krishna doesn't have to give any order to his energy. Okay, you do this and you do that. No. In absolute, the nature of the personality of Godhead is also absolute, and which manifests in his multifarious energies. That is the definition. न च तस्य कारणं च विद्यते न च तत्समासम् अभिधिकच्च दृश्यते पराशर शक्तिर्विविधीय श्रूयते स्वाभाविकी ज्ञानबलक्रिया च. This is in Srimad Upanishad. It is very affirmative. That for him there is nothing to do. And Krishna is so much active. We think that he has everything to do. Because there is no cause for him. Only cause is paritrana sadhana vinasha chadushkatam dharma sanstapana athaya sambhavami yuge. Then he appears out of his own sweet will when there is discrepancy in following the religion and to re-establish the course of religion. He appears on his sweet will. He knows when to appear. It does not appear on a very scheduled way. Otherwise, why it is so? We saw previously also that Krishna appeared in the 27th cycle of 4 Mahayugas of Brahma during the reign of Vaivasvata. So, actually, Dwapar Yuga is the second Yuga after Satya Yuga. Dwapar is second, and Treta is the third. In Treta Yuga, Ramchandra appears. But Krishna says, no, let me come as Ramchandra first. So, Krishna ordered the Yuga to appear before him. And then he appears on his sweet will as a third Yuga, even though his second Yuga. So, Krishna appears on a specific time. So, everything, all the firmament, all the directions and everything is becoming very in tune of the desire of worship Krishna, and they favorably so. Vishwatama was a chief controller of all the direction called Vasus, and he was in service of his master who was 400. And he is telling about Krishna, who is two-handed in front of everybody, and how he knows. So today's verse number 22nd, all right. Tathapi, verse written? No. Tathapi, you can repeat.
Tathapi
Ekanta Bhakteshu Bhupa Anukampitam Yat Me Asun Tyajataha Sakshat Krishna Darshanam Agataha Tathapi Kanta Bhakteshu Pasya Bhupanukampitam Yanme Asuyatyajatāh Sakshat Krishna Darshanam Agataha
kampitam
Yanme samtyagata sakshat
Yanme samsjata sakshat
Krishno darshanamagata
Krishno darshanamagata
Tathapi ekanta bhakteshu
Tathapi kanta bhakteshu
Pashya bhupanukampitam
Pashya bhupanukampitam
Yanme samtyagata sakshat
Yanme samsjata sakshat
Krishno darshanamagata
Krishno darshanamagata Tathapi kanta bhakteshu Tathapi kanta bhakteshu Pashya bhupanukampitam Pashya bhupanukampitam Yanme samsjata sakshat Yanme samsjata sakshat Krishno darshanamagata Krishno darshanamagata Tathapi ekanta bhaktesu Tathapi ekanta bhakteshu Pasya bhupanukampitam Pasya bhupanukampitam Yanme samsjata sakshat Yanme samsjata sakshat Krishno darshanam agataha Krishno darshanam agataha
Tathapi ekanta bhakteshu
Tathapi ekanta bhakteshu
Pasya bhupanukampitam
Pashya bhupanukampitam
Yanme samstajjata sakshat
Yanme samsjata sakshat
Krishna darshanamagata
Krishno darshanamagataha
Tathapi still ekanta unflinching bhakteshu unto the servitude devotees. Pashya, see here, Bhupa, O king, Anukampitam, how sympathetic, yet for which may my asud life Tyajataha ending Sakshat directly Krishna, the personality of Godhead, Darshanam, in my view, Agataha has kindly come. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Swami Prabhupada. Yet despite his being equally kind to everyone, he has graciously come before me while I am ending my life, for I am his unflinching servitor. The Supreme Lord, the Absolute Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, although equal to everyone, is still more inclined to his unflinching devotees, who is completely surrendered and knows no one else as his protector and master. Having unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead as one's protector, friend and master is the natural condition of the eternal life. A living entity is so made by the will of the Almighty that he is most happy when placing himself in the condition of the absolute dependence. The opposite tendency is the cause of fall down. The living entity has this tendency of falling down by dint of misidentifying himself as fully independent to lord it over the material world. The root cause of all problems, all troubles is there in false egotism. One must draw towards the Lord in his and all circumstances. The appearance of the Lord at the deathbed of Vishnuji is due to his being an unflinching devotee of the Lord. Arjuna had some bodily relationship with Krishna because the Lord happened to be his maternal cousin. But Vishnu had no such bodily relations. Therefore, the cause of attraction was due to the intimate relation of the soul. Yet because the relation of the body is very pleasing and natural, the Lord is more pleased when he is addressed as the son of Maharaj Nanda, the son of Yashoda, the lover of Radharani. This affinity by bodily relation with the Lord is another feature of reciprocating loving service with the Lord. Vishwadev is conscious of this sweetness of transcendental humor, and therefore he likes to address the Lord as Vijay Sakhe, Partha Sakhe, etc. Exactly like Nanda Nanda of Yashoda Nanda. The best way to establish our relation in transcendental sweetness is to approach him through his recognized devotees. One should not try to establish relation directly. There must be a via medium which is transparent and competent to lead us to the right path. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana-shalakaya Chakshur-meditanyena Tasmai Sri-Gurve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa-kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri-Guru Sri-Jata-Padakambam Sri-Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahadana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parikana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahadana Lalisa Shri Vishakhantanscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusudevi Pranamami Pripriye Vanchakamatharupyascha Kripasindhubhyevascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namaha Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vicharine Nirvishesha Shantivadi Paschatya Satarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasati Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This is very exalted realization of Krishna Vitama, that all of us are in bodily conception of life. Even by obligations, we are related with our family members. But despite this, when one concentrates on Lord Krishna, then we may think, oh yeah, these are Asat Saination, all these are members of my army who is supposed to save me, but they are not. They are Asat Saination. You can't depend upon the bodily conception and the elderlies or the young ones to save you from imminent birth and death. They are not capable. Therefore, there is a lot of emphasis in reducing the bodily conception of life when we serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, we will not be able to, go deeper into the interactions of Lord Krishna within our own heart. Not only realizing Him, but understanding He is the real benefactor, is the ultimate well-wisher. He says in Bhagavad Gita, yet we do not understand because of this relation. So, position of Vishnu Pitama is extremely important. That he was on opposite side. And apparently we see by bodily conception, oh, Krishna Pitama. Yeah. No. But even though you are in opposition, you are in bodily conception, yet if you understand Lord Shri Krishna is the ultimate benefactor and remain devoted with him, and whatever Krishna wants you to do, then it becomes part of your bhakti towards him. We think how even a pure devotee like Vishnu Pitama was on the side of Duryodhana. But when he prays, you can understand that even though we are in bodily conception of life, but by our previous good deeds that we got opportunity to learn about the desire of the Lord thoroughly. Even though you may be placed in opposition or you may be placed in favorable situation. So, one versus other, both Arjuna and Bhishma Pitama, they were fighting against each other. But Krishna was in the middle. Arjuna was even bodily attached, but with Krishna and nobody else. Because both are coming in Vishnu dynasty. Arjuna's mother, Kunti, was aunt of Lord Krishna. So bodily conception is there. But it is not to be understood because it's Krishna's design, therefore it was spiritual. And moreover, he has personal relationship of friendship with such a supreme personality of God. So, Krishna promised Arjuna, Duryodhana is taking away all my palaces. But Arjuna immediately said, that's okay, but he could not take you. You are on my side. So Arjuna was reposing for total protection on Lord Shri Krishna because his understanding is somewhat higher in spiritual relationship. Now, Vishnu Pitama is a Vasu. He is one of the chief of the Devatas. He was in service of 400 Lord Vishnu. He was in the service of 400 Vishnu, who is the creator, sustainer, and maintainer, or the destroyer of the manifested material world. Now, what kind of personal relationship out of 5, except servitorship, Vishnu Pitama would have? We do not see interaction of Vishnu Pitama with 400 Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu. And yet he was in service of the Supreme Lord. But he was also devoted. And he took away a vow that he took a vow which is somewhat very, very materially difficult to be executed. And he saw there was a vow by Lord Krishna also that he will not lift up any weapon. So there is a fight between Arjuna and Vishnu Pitama. Arjuna was shooting and hurting Vishnu Pitama. Not out of malice or not out of anything, but simply thinking that he is in opposition. I must win over him. But Vishnu Pitama was also very, very skillful fighter. one of the best. He was mentally very firm because he has taken a resolve. Second thing, that out of obligation he was in opposition party of Duryodhana. But that's a bodily concern. But that Vishnu Pitama is sacrificing ultimately. When out of that chivalrous mood, Vishnu Pitama was shooting so sharp arrows that Lord Sri Krishna has to come in between and taking the arrows himself. But how Krishna appreciated these arrows, even though it was said that some pink fluid was coming out from Krishna's body. And Krishna understood, just like kisses of a beloved on the body. But showing a great valor, Bhishma really put Arjuna into the danger of his life. At that time, to save Arjuna, Krishna got down immediately and took up the broken chariot's wheel like Sudarshan Chakra and rushed to kill Vishnu. That is the only point that Krishna and Vishnu Pitama's relationship was depending. So at that point, Vishnu Pitama said, "Oh, Krishna is breaking his promise, my dear Lord, you can't break the promise. You have said, but then why are you breaking the promise? Why are you breaking the promise? To save your favorite devotees. Oh, Krishna is having some favor. One who has surrendered him completely. So Vishnu Pitama said, okay, this is the opportunity for me to also surrender to him. Immediately, he also gave up all the vapor. On the pretext that, look, Krishna broke his promise, so I'm surrendering. So Krishna says, Arjuna, shoot him, and finish him. And Arjuna shot the arrow. How could Arjuna shoot the arrows, the one who doesn't have any weapon in his hand? So, is it out of the warfare etiquette that you are attacking from behind, or to whom who is not having something to defend? So, to surrender to the Lord, the soul has to surrender to the Lord, not the body. So body is useless. Let it perish. So, Vishnu Pitama won the credit of having his desire to fight against Krishna or his devotees. But at the same time, he knew that I have to surrender to the same Supreme Lord. So, he wanted Krishna to appear. He was in the deathbed of arrows for how many days? So many days. But he did not give up his life. He had several duties to perform out of his causeless compassion to Yudhishthira. Because Yudhishthira has won. So he taught him Rajadharma, how to rule. He taught him everything on his death arrows. Death arrows are very painful, but he became oblivious of his pain. But now, Krishna is appearing in his two-handed form, along with Arjuna. So, Bhishma Pitama starts glorifying their mother Kunti, that she endured so much insults, disfavor, everything. So as a devotee, one has to face the disfavor. When Kunti knew Krishna perfectly well, Pandavas knew, Vishnu Pitama also knew who was Krishna, even though he was worshipper of 400 Vishnu. So, Krishna appeared before him and to transit from the worldly affairs after speaking to Yudhishthira, he turns his attention to Lord Krishna. His duties to instruct is one thing, but ultimate duty is to Lord Krishna. Instructing the ideal rules and regulations of the welfare of the people in general is also necessary as far as material existence is concerned, so they can also repose their attention ultimately to Lord Krishna. So Rajadharma, the rules and regulations of the king, and the one who is going to rule all over the world, has been described thoroughly. But as the cause of all causes, Vishnu Pitama knows Lord Krishna. So he is presenting himself as a devotee, but at the same time, who is lesser than in relationship with Arjuna of Lord Krishna. He glorifies that Arjuna is dearmost devotee. So discriminating from one devotee to another cannot be done on artificial basis, not on material basis. But with the spiritual ending, if the discrimination is there, one has to understand. One has to understand that why this is a discrimination. This is a great principle that proves that even though one remaining in opposition, Vishnu Pitama still is considered to be a devotee of Lord Krishna, maybe in different mood of relationship with Krishna. But there is not only a stereotype relationship with Krishna, no. We do not know even our relationship at present. We are attached to the material aspect so much. So even the knowledge is there about the absolute truth of Lord Krishna and his devotees, yet we fail to interact because of bodily conception of life. But over the years, we must learn. Not in the sense of, oh, I was disfavored or somebody is favored. No. What is essential to become so closely spiritually related to Krishna means expanding your service to spiritually related your fellow devotees. And that character of Vaishnava is safe. Even if we harbor slightest animosity or what we call enviousness, we will fail, even though how great we may be executing devotional service. That element has to get rid of. So, Vishnu Pitama, by social custom, he was on the side of Kauravas, but his heart was always with the Pandavas. And he could not, show in front of everybody. He could not show. Why? Because this is still an unimportant matter of bodily conception of life. Even Draupadi chastises Bhishma Pitama when she was getting disrobed. She speaks harsh words on Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama. You are elders. But she doesn't know that much. That Krishna is beyond both appreciation and antagonism towards the elders of this or that. It's such a position of a pure devotee that how he is taken into consideration that apparently he is favored and he is not favored. No. We have to understand this principle. And it's extremely important to progress in unmotivated and uninterrupted devotional service. Only those who have unflinching faith in Guru and Krishna, such intricacies can be revealed. Yasya deve parabhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyeti katitha hi arthyaha prakashanti mahatma. One can become, fully enlightened in this intricacy of Lord Krishna's love that cannot be even compared to the material estimations. Parabhakti means madhbhakti labhate param. That is parabhakti. And one must be liberated from the bodily conception of life, and then you will be able to enter. Then you will be able to enter. We are all in transit of giving up material understanding, but we have not entered into parabhakti yet, because we are struggling with our own anarthas, anartha nivritti. But parabhakti starts after the liberation from the bodily conception of life. Not before. One should never try to show up, that I am equally, qualified, this, that, but no. Vaishnava Shishtaachara is something totally out of our normalcy of so-called material attachment. It is to give up the bodily conception gradually by following the Vaishnava etiquette. One may take time, that's okay. But the idea is that Yasya deve parabhakti, if you are devoted to Lord Shri Krishna, yatha deve tatha guru. Deva means the personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in any form, in deity form, or the form which we have to conceive by developing the attachment to our original desires. Sri Vigraha, they are not ordinary statues. Well, one that reciprocates with our sentient feelings is called Vigraha. The deities reciprocate and they purify us. And we have to exhibit the same kind of behavior as we have been doing internally with the deities, that we have to show to the congregation and the relations. That is said in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, one has to transit. One is given ample opportunity by Krishna's grace. That's okay. But one cannot be attached to a physical, know-how or how did it happen on this and that. But that is bodily conception of life, not spiritual conception. So one has to think beyond the bodily conception of life. So, in this particular incident, Srila Prabhupada is also hinting directly to the absolute necessity to develop the sentiments beyond the bodily conception of life. Otherwise, our perception in the mind, everything is mixed up with bodily conception. To transit from the bodily conception of mind and thinking in the way that Vishwakarma is exemplifying is a very great effort, and that is allowed to express in the words of Srila Prabhupada. It is possible, and it has been a thinking when we are getting mature in our devotional service. Are we developing the sense of, deep understanding about the desire? You can't be given an opportunity at the time of death, because you never know. And death is the culmination of all material activities, and how it will come, we can't anticipate. But it does not restrict our consciousness to be developed in the line of Vishwakarma. By studying the character, by understanding properly, thinking and meditating on the internal position of Vishwakarma. Prabhupada expresses so much, Prabhupada is telling a living entity is so made by the will of the Almighty that he is most happy when placing himself in the condition of absolute dependence. Absolute dependence on Krishna, not on your job, not on your family. These are all asat saimeshu, fallible soldiers. Nidhanam pashyati na pashyati. Even the imminent death is there, but he becomes oblivious. That he is sick, but he ignores that his attachment is still on the bodily relations. The opposite tendency, that is this tendency to attach with the material situations, is the cause of a fall down. The living entity has this tendency of falling down by dint of misidentifying himself as fully independent to the Lord, it over the material Lord. We think we still have that tendency. Therefore, the seventh offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting of the holy name. Why it is sinful? Even though it's pious activity. Means it is binding us in ignorance is sinful. If it does not help us to become liberated from the bodily conception of mind, it is said to be sinful. The root cause of all trouble is there in false egotism. One must draw towards the Lord in all circumstances, whether it is physical circumstances or spiritual circumstances. The cause of all causes is Lord Shri Krishna. So I never give up to develop the transcendental vision. The appearance of Lord Krishna at the deathbed of Vishnuji is due to his being an unflinching devotee of the Lord. Arjuna had some bodily relationship with Krishna because the Lord happened to be his maternal cousin, but Bhishma had no such bodily relation. Therefore, the cause of attraction was due to the intimate relationship of the soul, not of the body. But Arjuna was benefited by both. Yet because of the relationship of the body is very pleasing and natural, that gives us sense of attachment to it. So, sense of attachment with Krishna in bodily relationship is a plus, not a minus. Yet because the relationship of the body is very pleasing and natural, the Lord is more pleased when he is addressed as son of Maharaj Ananda. Identification with the body. But neither the Lord nor Nanda Maharaj were in bodily conception, but they behave exactly as if they are in bodily conception. Son of Yashoda, the lover of Radha. And immediately we want to imitate in our life without understanding the absolute nature of the Supreme Lord. We think Radharani is related. Remember, have you seen the ladies especially? They know which dress Radharani is going to wear, which color, the same color they will appear. It's a natural thing, but it is still with the bodily conception, not with the spiritual conception. They can't explain. It is a natural attraction. But still, we have to qualify internally. This affinity of bodily relationship with the Lord is another feature of reciprocating loving service with the Lord. You need reciprocation. But it's a one-way thinking. We do not know what Krishna wants us to simply imitate without qualifications. We have to develop the intense love and desire for Krishna that starts after liberation from the material conception of life. There is bodily conception because you are going to be related to Lord Krishna. Arjuna had the benefit that he was born in the same dynasty as Lord Krishna's. So we can't see, we are also qualified without pre-qualification of spiritual nature. So Adhyatma always comes before our desires. We need to deserve first and then desire. Have a control on the mind. Do we deserve this? If you deserve, then you can desire. Don't desire and then become deserved. It's not other way around. To get rid of bodily conception, that's a desire. But do we deserve? If we are engaged fully in material, political, or whatever kind of life, any devotional service is there, but it has no clarity because we do not deserve. We desire. That is the wrong. First is deserve, then desire. Bhishmadeva is conscious of the sweetness of transcendental humor, and therefore he likes to address the Lord as Vijaya Sakhe, Partha Sakhe. The Lord is known by his relationship. Radha Krishna, not only Krishna. Nanda Nandana, Yashodananda. That relationship is there. This is the best way to establish our relationship with the transcendental sweetness is to approach him through his recognized devotees. We can't put aside Guru Tattva and go without his appreciation or jurisdiction or approval. That's how it is safe to make a progress. The best way to establish our relationship in transcendental sweetness is to approach him through his recognized devotees. One should not try to establish the relationship directly. There must be a via medium which is transparent and competent to lead us to the right path. A guru is a non-political entity and never try to drag in. If we need to make a progress. Alright? So, this is an excellent verse, very appropriate to make a further progress in our life. Is there any question or comments? Think. Always think.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for the nice class. I just want to know one thing that in the last part of your class, you were mentioning about Krishna.
Hold on. I have to wear this because of imperfect senses. Go ahead.
Thank you for the nice class. I have one question from the last part of your class that you were mentioning that Krishna will tell us what to do by reciprocation, but we need to have the qualification to understand that reciprocation. But what I'm thinking that at this stage, I'm feeling for myself that I'm not qualified enough to understand the reciprocation. So in that case, I need to go to my spiritual master, Guru, or the senior devotee that they are present around me. But sometimes I have some experience in that I'm going to the senior devotees and not getting that kind of reciprocation that I want to know, or it is not helping for my spiritual advancement. So in that case, what should I do?
Approach the spiritual master. Don't approach him directly. Go through the seniority. If you are not satisfied, then finally you have to come to your spiritual master. But there are so many instructing spiritual masters also. Understand? So, we should not be directly offending or indirectly offending the spiritual master first. If you have argument, or if you have a kind of opposition, or if you have a difference of opinion, resolve it through the hierarchy. So, we may be given a practical solution or a compromise solution, and that does not satisfy you, then go little bit. But you should be also simultaneously developing detachment. If you are performing devotional service, the knowledge of the Absolute and detachment required, that automatically comes. If that has not come, we are still neophyte devotees. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayogita Janayatyasu Dhyanam Vairakyam Chad Ahetukam. Ahetuki means there is no other cause than upliftment of our bondage. We should get rid of this. Then and then you will be self-satisfied. Yayatma suprasidati. How? What is that verse? Yayatma suprasidati. Srimad Bhagavatam, the second verse. Dharmo projita kaita vadra paramo nirmatsaranam stam vedyam vastamata vidam trapatayo ululunu Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim Vaparayadishvara Satyo Avrudyate Avrudyate Sushruvi. By simplicity, Tatkshana, you will be able to achieve all the result. But this is the process. Savai Punsam Varodharmo Yado Bhakti Purushajay Ahayati Apratihata Yayatma Suprasidati. The self should be satisfied in its natural sequential progress. Then and then, evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnana mukta sangasya jayate. Then and then our mukti from the bodily conception is possible. Then further, vidyate hridaya granthi chinyanti sarva samshaya kshiyanti chasya karmani drashta eva manishvare. You will have direct perception of yourself as well as the Paramatma. Sakshatkar, it's not a make-believe thing. If you become aligned with the desire of Guru and Krishna, everything will be revealed.
repeated now my question, is that we may look at Bhishma Deva and think how bewildered he was to not just abandon Duryodhana and the Kauravas, but in fact he was somehow sensitive to the will of the Lord and was not distracted by bodily concepts here or there. He was simply trying to follow Dharma according to, in a way that helped him understand the will of the Lord. Did I understand correctly what you were saying?
Bhishma Stuti is well appreciated, but most of the Stuti is in relationship with his functionality of the Absolute Truth. Right? But knowing the source of Absolute Truth is Krishna, he also has the knowledge. So directly, he is not glorifying Krishna, Lord Krishna, but his multifarious energies and how do they work in the physical activities of the material world, including the living entities, how they interact. So that's okay. That is also the knowledgeability part, but on his personal level. That he is the servant of Lord Shri Krishna, indirectly, because it is 400 Vishnu form that he is the servant. So there is no difference between a two-handed form where Arjuna was so much, privileged to serve. Arjuna never served 400 Vishnu form, but he was not bereft of the knowledge. So there was a confusion in the mind of Arjuna. Who is the greatest? 200 form Krishna is greatest or 400 Vishnu form? So that incident of, Lord Krishna and Balaram in Dwarka. They were there ruling and they were already having that prestige that they are God themselves. And one Brahman would come complaining. As soon as his wife gives birth to a child, he dies. So he was questioning, what kind of gods are you that in your presence a child born has to die first before his father? What kind of God are you that you can't save the child's life? So it simultaneously happened for 5 times, and on the 6th time Arjuna was visiting. So Arjuna has heard that this Brahman came and he challenged the Brahman on the strength of his devotional service and relationship with Krishna. Arjuna was confident to challenge the Brahman that I am there, I will die on the fire if the child again, is born and then dies. I will enter the fire if I fail. But don't say anything ill or challenging to my Lord. So Brahman says, okay, we'll see. I'll trust you. And so, as soon as the child was born in Dwarka, he died immediately. So again, he came and complaining to Arjuna, see, you were talking so high of yourself. Now, enter into fire. Then Krishna intervened. He said, Arjuna, I know. Now, let's go and retrieve the children of this Brahman. So, Arjuna is riding on Garuda with Krishna. Now, who can ride on Garuda? Satyabhama could ride on Garuda to go to Indraloka. But Arjuna has to ride with Krishna on Garuda to go all the way to Karmadaksha Vishnu's place. And they saw the Lord is lying, resting. But as soon as they came near, he woke up and greeted Krishna. Oh my dear Lord, thank you for coming. I said, I knew that you were supposed to come. So Arjuna said, oh, 400 Vishnu knew that we are coming, so he must be God. He must be God. Then Krishna says, you came 6 times to Dwarka, taking the kids away, the lives of the kids. How come you didn't come and see us? Charity. As if Krishna is superior than Vishnu. Arjuna said, oh my God. Krishna, I can understand he is the Supreme Lord. How does he know? And why Vishnu was hiding his face, just for stealing, and nobody can know? Krishna knows. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So realization of the absolute truth and higher rasas is important. And ultimately you come to Lord Krishna and not others. Alright? So the point is that Vishnu Pitama had realization, more appreciation in daily interaction with 400 Vishnu. But he ignored it. Krishna is the original source. Then what's the big deal? We have also hierarchy in our temple, who has direct access and who doesn't have. Like that. So it is based on the perception of the Supreme Absolute Truth. At what extent we develop that relationship is an internal matter. We have to rise above an understanding on a common, yet the details are not known. And so it cannot be appreciated that way. Details have to be known. Yasmin vigyate sarvameva vigyatam bhavanti. That is Lord Krishna. Knowing him perfectly well, everything is known. Know only one personality. That is Vishnu Tattva. But ours is Krishna Tattva. Jai Krishna Tattva Vedta Sei Guru Hoy. That is the standard of what Srila Prabhupada established. We do not have aspiration to go to Vaikuntha. You can go. Even Prabhupada was labeled as Vaikuntha man. But that is, he has to be exhibiting his liberated state internally while working as a common man outside. People who are knowing such internal status by observation, then they are attracted. Otherwise, who can attract hippies? Srila Prabhupada was able to. And apparent serenity and practice that Prabhupada could, he was performing himself, teaching others, towards developing all the sincerity in following in the footsteps. Srila Prabhupada never compromised. Even though his talks may be out of the world, it is expressed. Right? But everything has been proven when they have kept the faith in Srila Prabhupada. Yasya deve parabhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasya hi katitha hi adhya prakashantam. You should have unflinching faith in Guru and Krishna. As you put the faith in Krishna, similarly you have to exhibit in front of the Guru also, or for Guru also. Then everything will be revealed. Our mentality to put Guru in a statue form is simply the reminder that if Krishna can be in photograph or a three-dimensional form, that's okay. The form is there, but it is divine. Then what is the divinity? If you are not cultivating the divinity aspect and you are simply, absorbed in material, nitty-gritty stuff and attached to it, then what is the use? Our aim and objective is to understand the divinity. How would you understand the divinity? Chakshudana dilo je janme janme prabhu se divya dhyan vide prakashito. It must be manifested in the heart of the devotee if you follow the direction of the Guru. I mean, this verse is beautiful, and it shows the deeper understanding and Srila Prabhupada's purpose. Got it? Any other question? Yes. Can you pass over that, please? Speak a little louder. I'm a deaf person.
Hi Krishna Guru Maharaj. Sorry, I was late for the class. So my question is, as you said about Guru is very important. So how one can make his or her Guru Maharaj happy or serve him, like in which way?
The Guru should be following in the line of Srila Prabhupada. Should meditate on previous acharyas. Should also refer to them while speaking, but not from anything outside of parampara. Then you are secure. There may be some misunderstanding, but rest, it should not disturb your faith on the Guru. It may take time, but Guru in totality is one. It's not a personality concept. There is one personality concept, it is the Supreme Personality of God. Everybody otherwise have their own personality according to their realization of the absolute truth. Bhishma Pitama has his own. His functionality is also related to material affairs as the directors of the horizons, what they call Ashtavashus. He was the chief of the Vasus. And that's why he had desire to that the same Lord Krishna has expanded in the four-handed form of Vishnu. He was his boss. that personality is his boss, but he wants to return. After liberation, they want to get back to their services. Services is more important than going back home, back to God, because you will be spiritually always remaining in touch. But service is there. What's the difference to serve an internal world of, say, Samvit, Ladini and Sandhini Shaktis of, say, spiritual world? the service can be rendered in the material world, even though the influence of Maya is there. So such personalities who know, even within the material world, they desire, oh, I want to participate in Krishna. He is coming after a long time, one day in Brahma, this is it, right? So they express their desire. Even Mahavishnu expressed the desire to participate in Lord Krishna's pastimes. If he can Govardhan, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. But he expressed, and Krishna said, okay. So Brahma also did. Hey, Brahmachal, you can become. And Nandeshwar Mahadev, you witness. You want to witness? Okay, become mountain and witness. But Giriraj is my own Swarup, So that's how Brijvasis were saying that Lord Krishna's form is seen in Giriraj, and he was eating everything. The offered Chappan Bhoga. Giriraj was eating, but Krishna was there, and he enjoyed all the offerings. So we have to reach to the higher and higher mellows. This is the real meditation of the maturity in following in our four regulative principles and chant 16 rounds, and then clear the way, become liberated from bodily conception of life. So unless and until we cultivate Brahma Bhutta Prasanna Na Sochati Na Kankshati Samat Sarveshu Bhuteshu Madhva